If you're on self-improvement, you know how important reading is, right? We're told that we need to read every day, that it's really good to learn and develop from all these books and stuff, which is completely true, right? But what if you absolutely hate reading? Like, you actually despise it and you cannot stand to read a book. Like, you open a book, you read a couple of lines, and then you just fall off and you just completely hate it. You absolutely hate reading, but you still want to get, the knowledge and value and stuff from the books into your life. Well, there are a couple of things that we do wrong that really, make it hard for us to sit down with a book and start absorbing the knowledge. And there is a quote that I want you to keep in mind, and that's a man who doesn't read is no difference to a man who can't read. So if you're not reading right now, you're basically no different to a man who is literally not able to read. And the knowledge and value that you're missing out on from these books can really help your life. So today, bro, I'm gonna give you 4 useful tips on how to actually start reading if you hate reading, and how to change it around in your favor. The first tip, which I think is actually the most important and has helped me the most, so I decided to put it the first, is that you have to read books that you actually enjoy reading. If someone recommended to you some random books that it's like, oh, read this book for really improving your masculinity, or read this book to really learn about businesses and stuff. If all these influencers and stuff, they're recommending you books, but if you just blindly follow them and start reading and force yourself to read just because someone said it's like productive to do, you're not gonna benefit that much, right? You have to choose the books that you actually feel like inclined to read. You take a bunch of books that maybe you've been recommended to by someone, and you see which one you truly feel the most inclined to read. Because if you do that, then you're probably gonna land on a book that is like applicable to your present life, and it's not something that's gonna be like further down the line. If you don't like reading, then you just haven't found the type of books that you actually like reading. So it's just to like experiment and see which genres and which topics you like the most, and just try out a bunch of different things. For example, right now I read a lot of business and self-development type books, which is really fun for me, honestly, and I also get a lot of value from them, so it's a win-win on both sides. And the best tip is simply to just find books that you actually enjoy reading and that you feel inclined to read with. Now, how exactly do you do that? Like, how do you know, like, this book I'm gonna read now, this book I'll read sometime later? How do you know that? Well, this leads to tip number 2, which is that I've started to read the book summaries before I pick up a book. This is so I can see like if the book has stuff that'll actually be valuable for me in my present life, and if it's actually worth my time to read the book. If I see that I'm not really engaged with the book, it's like I'm forcing myself to read and it's not really giving me much that I can use right now, then I don't read the book. That's like a really good benefit of reading online book summaries, and you don't have to pay for anything. I think the free versions are just fine, and you can just Google whatever book you're thinking of reading, like Atomic Habit summary, and just read through it and see if anything catches your eye or like seems like that's interesting, I want to find out more, and then maybe you would consider reading the book. Otherwise, if it's like a bunch of garbage that you don't like at all enjoy, then you probably shouldn't. You should probably find another book, because if you hate reading, you're not gonna want to read it. The third tip, which I found really helpful, and it's from one of the fucking goats in business and entrepreneurship, Alex Ramosi. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. And he says that you don't have to finish a book that you start reading. And this has really been useful for me, and getting me to read lots and lots of books, because there are many books which I pick up over the course of my life that maybe have been recommended to me or whatever. I read through them and I don't really find myself resonating with any of the things in there. It's just like random fluff, and I just don't like the book, and I'm not getting any value from there I could use. What I would do then is that I would maybe skim through the book a bit and then look at like the later chapters and see if anything seems eye-catching or anything is interesting. Otherwise, if nothing seems interesting to me, I'll just quit the book. You don't have to read the books cover to cover like people say. Like fucking school brainwashed us that you have to read the book from cover to cover and then answer questions on it. So not every book that you pick up needs to be read cover to cover. So if you hate reading but you don't want to read at all, but you still want to get the value from the books, then just read the books that you actually enjoy and see if it's actually will resonate with you by reading the summary. And also keep in mind that you don't have to finish the book that you started reading. And slowly, as you start to read more and more books, you'll start to like books naturally better, and you will watch them over stuff like YouTube videos. Which reminds me, this is a tip for people who really hate reading, which just came to me, and it's to treat books like YouTube videos. When we click on a YouTube video, we see if it's interesting, if it's going to give us value, and if it's worth our time to watch it, right? And the same thing we should do with a book. We pick it up and then we just skim through it, we see if it's actually worth our time to read and stuff. And if it seems really interesting, then 100% we read it from cover to cover. Otherwise, it's, you know, if it's like boring at times, or it's just a bunch of fluff where the author just yaps and nothing actually happens, then you can 100% skip ahead. And the fourth and final tip, it's like something that you do whilst in the process of reading. And it's something that has really helped me when I really don't feel like reading at times. Like sometimes I cannot be asked to read a book, but I know that it's like the most high ROI thing that I could do with my time right now to learn and develop, right? So what I do is that I pick up the book and then I start playing an audiobook online and I listen to it whilst reading along. That really helps me like get into the flow, and it's like, it also just keeps you focused because you're not only reading with your eyes, but you're also listening with your ears. That is a tip that is really helpful. Just search up whatever book you're reading, audiobook, and then the chapter, and you're super likely to find something on YouTube or on any other random website. That will help you like overcome procrastination and will just get you through the book. If you really hate reading and maybe, I don't know, you find something really good in the book and then you actually start enjoying it and reading it on your own without the fucking audiobook. But audiobooks is something that has really helped me, and I think if you hate reading, you'll love those too. Now, I'm not a type of person to hate reading. I actually like reading, for the matter of fact, but only when it's the type of books that I actually enjoy, the genre of books that I actually find useful and valuable and fun for me. And that can be different to you. For example, if school like gives us some random fucking book in another language that we have to read, I don't really enjoy reading that at all, you know. I probably will just use ChatGPT, make a summary of it, and that's it. Boom, done. Fucking 20% Pareto principle it. But if it's a book that I actually will really get value from, for example, Way of the Superior Man, and you can see a bunch of books over there. Maybe I can just show you here. There, a bunch more books. If it's actually books that I actually like reading in my genre, then I will be much more likely to read and I will actually enjoy it. So make reading fun. Hope that helped you, bro. Don't be one of them that doesn't read, because you're no different to a man who can't read. Remember that. And do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.